Thank you for allowing me to join virtually. I am joining you from Savannah, Georgia, on vacation with my family today. So it's great to be here with you all. I am so excited to be here presenting Scholar House today. Some of you might remember that I was here a couple of years ago, hoping that Scholar House would be a project that started in the year 2021. Our organization had to go through several iterations of Scholar House, and I'm here today as we're talking about the evolution of family programs, because our Scholar House program has become a reality and will be opening in 2023. So just to tell you a little bit about CHN Housing Partners, we are 40 years old. We were established by 6 community development corporations to address housing abandonment and affordability. A lot of the issues that you see across the region today were also issues back in the 80s. And so we brought together local experts to really enhance housing in Cuyahoga County. Our mission is to leverage the power of affordable and stable housing to change lives and improve communities. We have 6 service areas. So we have affordable housing and real estate development. We have a home lending arm that can provide down payment assistance and mortgages, utility and rental assistance, housing counseling and financial education, energy conservation and weatherization, and community building and engagement. In each of these areas, our focus is responding on to community needs, however we can and however we need to. So 3 service areas, we have crisis intervention programs that are helping folks with things like utility and rental assistance, eviction and foreclosure prevention, and emergency repairs. Stabilization programs to provide folks housing to maintain their home and preserve their asset, and lead paint removal incentives for Cleveland landlords. And then we have enrichment programs, and that's where we're working with folks that are out of crisis, that are looking at things like home ownership, financial education, career counseling, or youth development and community engagement. And I highlight each of these 3 areas because we paid attention to each of these as we created our Scholar House project. So what is Scholar House? Loosely defined, a Scholar House is one that eliminates barriers to support a student parent, so someone who is attending post-secondary education, to achieve employment for a family sustaining wage. We use a 2-generation approach to interrupt the cycle of poverty for parents and their children and permanently change the trajectory of their lives. So as we're delivering services to the whole family, we know that that has a multiplying factor, that all of the services and benefits that come with the Scholar House will impact that family for generations to come. So the elements of the Scholar House model include affordable housing, high quality childcare, academic supports, and health and wellness supports for the whole family. So we are not the first Scholar House. There are many Scholar Houses across the country, but some of the longest running Scholar Houses have shown really, really great results when it comes to outcomes and outputs within their programs. At the Family Scholar House, which is the first Scholar House located in Louisville, Kentucky, over 80% of participants exit to stable employment. 65 pursue additional education, so beyond that post-secondary degree that they entered with. The average annual income of graduates from the past 5 years is $47,000. Almost 80% of graduates have significantly reduced reliance on public assistance, becoming financially secure. And 88% of children in child development centers are performing above their age-appropriate developmental benchmarks. Each of these Scholar Houses listed here, Family Scholar House, Jeremiah program, they have really, really great programs that differ from site to site. So I would really encourage you to look those up and see what they have in their models. So introducing our newly named Louise C. Stokes Scholar House. As we were talking to our external stakeholders, potential residents for Scholar House, they were really hoping to identify with this project. And we thought, who better to look to than Louise C. Stokes, the mother of Carl and Lewis Stokes, because she really truly was someone that I think we can all aspire to. And that's what we wanted to provide for the scholars that live in this housing development. And so we've built a very strong coalition in hand with United Way of Greater Cleveland. I will give a big shout out to Renee Timberlake, who's in the room today. She is currently my partner in crime as we are convening this coalition of organizations to create the Scholar House in Cleveland. And so right now that coalition includes Cleveland State, Tri-C, Step Forward, and CMHA. So each of those partners really drives a key element or component of Scholar House. So the stable housing will be led by CHN in partnership with CMHA. So we are developing our Scholar House building on a piece of vacant land. It has a big pile of dirt on it right now, located right next to the William Patrick Day Center. That's on Community College Avenue. Scholar House will consist of 33 two-bedroom units and 7 three-bedroom units. Amenities will include on-site daycare, as well as the daycare right next door in William Patrick Day, study spaces, a computer lab, a common space for parenting classes and family activities, as well as a play space. Our community rooms will be very large and open, and we plan on not having any markers on any of our flex spaces. So families will feel comfortable using a room for a tutoring session or for just a quiet space to read if they need it. So we want the building to be accommodating to our residents. CMHA will be providing 40 project-based vouchers and is leasing the land for the building. So the units in the building will be affordable. The subsidies will be attached to the units. So when families move in, rent will be based on their income. Step Forward is our partner for high quality childcare. Their early learning center at William Patrick Day, in addition to our on-site daycare, will hopefully provide plenty of seats for all of the children that live in Scholar House. Academic support will be provided by CSU and Tri-C through all of their great programs. They'll be providing life skills, academic counseling, cohort support for first generation college students, everything that we've grown to know them providing well at both of those institutions. And then resident services will be convened and provided by CHN in the United Way to provide wraparound services as identified with the families, so that we know we're providing services that they need, like mental health counseling, financial literacy, access to benefits, and other services. So that yellow star on the picture there is where our building will be going up. So in close proximity to both Tri-C and CSU. What I should mention here is that Scholar House will not be limited to just those two schools. It is located and is proximate to both of them. But if someone were to say go to John Carroll or Case Western, they would be eligible for Scholar House as well. And so here's a rendering of the building. We wanted to make sure it fit well with all of the other great new apartment buildings and housing and organizations that are on the street. And so how this has evolved is in May of 2021, our current application was awarded. The application that we submitted was our third one. Our first two applications were not approved, not because they weren't good applications. There was just so much competition across the state. So an example is in one of the years, we were competing against LeBron James in his project in Akron, and that was the one that got awarded. So there are just so many great projects across the state of Ohio. It took us just a few tries. So construction will begin this summer, and then we will be opening to residents in the summer of 2023, just ahead of the fall semester, with the capacity to house 40 families. We will be prioritizing single parents as much as we can, but if someone were to come to Scholar House and they do have a partner in the household with them, they may still be eligible for the house. We just know that the population will primarily be single parents. So as part of this process, it was really important for us to include our residents or our stakeholders' voices in the planning process. And so the first initiative that we tackled this year was a round of focus groups with students from both Tri-C and CSU that are student parents or were student parents, to learn from them as they have lived experience on what they would want in a Scholar House. We asked them questions like, how do you want Scholar House to feel? What do you want Scholar House to look like? When you think of a family that graduates from Scholar House, what words can you think of to describe them? And these were the words that we saw most often. Community. They're really looking forward to that peer support and living with other families that are in a situation similar to their own. Success. Supported. They feel as though they will be safe at Scholar House, empowered and given agency to make their own decisions. They will feel peaceful and they will feel relaxed. And I think those last two words are very telling in what our families need when they're juggling school and children and all of the things that come with being a parent. And so our groundbreaking, which you saw a bit of in the video earlier, took place on June 15th, just a few weeks ago, where we gathered at the site next to Sankofa Village, next to William Patrick Day Early Learning Center, to celebrate the groundbreaking of the Louise C. Stokes Scholar House. We included here some pictures of Louise C. Stokes herself. And it was really important to the family that we use this quote. This is something that Louise C. Stokes said to her sons often. Get something in your head so you don't have to use your hands like I have. And that's not to say that other careers aren't just as important as ones that require a college degree or a college education. But it was really important to her that her children went to school and had something to aspire to outside of what she had known growing up. And so we were really proud and a bit humbled that the Stokes family agreed for us to use her name on this building. So when families move into the building in the summer of 2023, in the lobby, we hope to have a lot of pictures of Louise C. Stokes and quotes and things that she really treasured as she was bringing up her two boys. And so the services that we will be providing on site will be, again, based on what we identify as the needs of our families. But we have pulled together a group of steering partners. And as part of our services subcommittee, we've also pulled in the Sisters of Charity, Promise Neighborhood, the Greater Cleveland Food Bank, and the centers, along with the partners at the university, Step Forward, and CMHA. Once the building opens, we will also have a resident advisory council, and we will invite residents to also be on any steering or subcommittees that we have as it relates to the building and service provision, to ensure that we are pivoting and directing our services in a way that meets the needs of the residents that are in the building. And so we really want to align with the strengths and the opportunities of our families. So we'll be using a strengths-based model as we work with each of our families. We continue to use the motto, our clients are the experts of their own lives. We're really just there to provide some additional coaching as they need it. And that's how we envision things happening at Scholar House. And so that was the end of the presentation. I have put my contact information here. So if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts on things we can do with this program, we are always open to learning from our community, including our stakeholders here today.